Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love. American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
And I'm your other host, Nero.
And we're still here.
Are you prepared to receive information that may harm you? That's what should precede every episode of Transformers Energon.
I mean, here's the thing. It can only harm you if you can understand it.
That's true. It's sort of it's like looking into an incomprehensible horror and just not being affected.
I have new appreciation for the term blissful ignorance.
Yes.
I will say. They've been doing it, obviously, since we started the season. Nero has been doing the the summaries for these episodes, but they will absolutely need to continue doing that moving forward.
Yeah.
Because I have reached the point in the dub where I actually can't follow the story. I don't know what's happening, so I'm excited to find out. Yeah,
so we've reached sort of a watershed moment for Transformers Energon. Superlink too, but Energon more specifically. Where as soon as this fucking spaceship shows up, as soon as the Miranda 2 becomes the main setting, it all just fucking falls apart. It all just goes to shit. It already was on shaky ground before this, but we're entering a new territory of just absolute dog-ass dubbing.
And can I just say, I really love the explicit objectification of his wife. The Dr. Jones hits just keep on coming.
I'm gonna name this big, curvy spaceship after you, honey. I hate him. I hate him a lot.
I'm sexually attracted to this spaceship.
Where did he get... We'll talk about it when we get here, but he really just kind of pulls the spaceship out of his ass.
Oh, you know, NASA.
So we watched 3 episodes of Energon today. We watched episodes 15, 16, and 17. And I know you just said my dependable summaries, but I did not write any this week because my schedule has been all out of whack due to Dawn Trail impacting my life like a fucking meteor, or perhaps some kind of fake comet with Scorponok tied to the front of it.
See, I do have one of my very few notes for this episode is "See you, Space Scorponok."
Yeah, except he's fine. And we get started here, I guess, with episode 15, which is Rodimus, Friend or Foe, or in Superlink, Enemy, Ally, Rodimus Convoy.
Okay, so I do have some notes from the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
The main one being, as soon as this episode starts, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, you have just met. You know, we know about Cyclonus, we know about Sandstorm, we know that guy. He's the funny Joker guy who laughs a lot. And one could say that might get annoying, but you know what would really make it really annoying? What if you replaced all of that laughing with yodeling?
Yeah.
Cyclonus is Snowcat now.
He sure is.
Or Sandstorm to Snowstorm in Superlink. And he loves to ski
that at
through
least
space.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like the name tracks. Cyclonus and Snowcat just have no fucking...
Yeah.
There's no connective tissue.
What is it?
All of the is Fig making his presence known?
Yeah, he's been so vocal lately. Is it because you're hot? I'm also hot.
Yeah, everyone's sweating. Everyone's feeling lethargic, including the Decepticons at the beginning of this episode, because they're trying to. They're basically just throwing garbage at the Energon grid, to see if it'll do anything. Like we open up on Snowcat skiing through space.
It sucks, dog.
And,
it sucks. I hate this.
Yeah, and like I said, basically every moment he's not speaking, Snowcat is yodeling in both versions.
I do want to note that back at base, Megatron goes 2D again, so they can animate a yawn.
This is where this episode has a lot of 2D animation to show actual emotion. It happens a lot. It happens. The other big 2D shot happens at the very end with Scorponok, going gagoo. But also, there's bits in the middle where like they draw on 2D like animated bits onto the models to make them more expressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you guys should have done that from the fucking start. Who knows? Probably look kind of weird, but would it have looked any worse than it already does?
We have talked about this in the rare moments where it's happened before, and it does have that kind of like kablam robot chicken effect.
A little bit. But everyone's bored, and the Decepticons are going to try to figure out how to get around this fucking this Energon grid. Meanwhile, we've got Rodimus rolling up on Mars. Hotshot has earlier talked about Hotshot. We learn all about how much Hotshot loves Rodimus. We knew all of that from Armada, of course. Rodimus, the guy he loved and respected, maybe even more than Optimus. We knew all about that.
Yeah,
just like Megatron's sword.
Just like Megatron's sword and his blaster.
Yeah, and Rodimus basically calls Hotshot his most beloved pupil and tells him to come to Mars so they can talk. And they go do that. Meanwhile, the Decepticon B plot is basically just they figure out that Alpha Q has been spying on them, and they go to like shoot up Unicron's head. So they're just kind of a non-entity for most of this episode.
Though there is exactly one line that made me genuinely unironically laugh.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode where Megatron has like gathered the troops and he's like, have you found Alpha Q yet? And Demolisher's like, no sir, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And Tidal Wave follows that up with going, yes, because space is really big.
Thank you for your input, Tidal Wave. It's really big, like me.
Yes, because space is really big. It's genuinely like probably the most fun I had watching these episodes was that line.
But they find one of his like Terracons who's been spying on them, and then they basically follow him back to base. Meanwhile, Kicker and Ironhide follow Hotshot to Mars, where he has been called by Rodimus. And are there to it's also that if you can see I've got the wiki open because I didn't write any of these notes down, but it's very helpful.
Folks, it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that there are still people who are willingly watching this,
that's outrageous to me. Scorponok is there.
So much else you could do with your time.
Scorponok is there, some Terracons are there. But before Hotshot and Scorponok can get to rumbling, Rodimus stops them. And he gives Hotshot this big speech of like, actually, have you ever considered that Unicron might be able to be used for good? And Hotshot says, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Rodimus does not come out of this episode looking particularly good.
There's no real I don't know why he believes this. Like, okay.
Why he's been led to believe that this is a viable option.
So the thing he cites in Superlink is Alpha Q used Energon to like create the Terrorcons out of Unicron's body. And I'm like, okay, what does that have to do with fucking anything at all, my man? You can make infinite birdies and kitties and dinosaurs out of Unicron. That's great. I guess you can like use him to build infrastructure if you put Energon into him, but also he's the devil. I think all of this just stems from the fact that Rodimus wasn't there during Armada. He didn't see any of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is very confusing to me still why there are now like 4 separate factions in
there's
this.
there's
3 of whom want the same thing.
So yeah, there's the Autobots who they're the only ones who don't want to. They want to
Right.
destroy Unicron because
The
it's bad.
Autobots are the only faction that makes sense to still exist at this point.
The Decepticons want to revive Unicron to use him as a weapon of conquest.
And also because Megatron wants to kill him himself again.
Yeah, Megatron wants to like tame him.
Yeah.
Rodimus wants to revive Unicron because he thinks you can use it to repair Cybertron, I guess. And Alpha Q wants to revive Unicron because question mark. We don't know that part yet. No, I don't know why Alpha Q wants this. We will eventually learn.
Alpha Q wants it because he was like created by Unicron, wasn't
Nope.
he?
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
But we will eventually learn why. We will eventually learn why he wants this, but it won't be for quite a while. But yes,
whatever.
Hotshot holds Rodimus at gunpoint. He's like, "Please, sir, I can't shoot you. I have to take you in." But he can't do it. He can't shoot Rodimus, and Rodimus says, "You're bitch made," and shoots Hotshot. Kicker and Ironhide arrive at that point to back up Hotshot, but they get their fucking asses handed to them by Team Rodimus. And I think we have a new, worse-looking Power Links form.
Oh, before we get there, though, I do want to say, speaking of worse-looking things, holy shit, I didn't talk enough about how bad Snowcat really looks. Seeing him in action, it's like, oh, this is like inflation fetish art.
Yeah.
It's
the way
bad.
The way he moves is not good.
He's the Rouge the Bat as wide as she is tall from that one post about furries and doctors.
Absolutely. I mean his fucking bazonkas are like all of his body mass.
Yeah.
But yes, I think the easily the worst looking fucking Power Links form so far. Rodimus and Prowl. Holy shit. When Prowl combines with someone and he becomes the legs, it looks so bad.
This is also another instance of a character that has no relation to his namesake.
No. In fact, you want to know what his Japanese name is? Red Alert.
Okay. Okay. I mean it makes more. He's closer to Red Alert than he is to Prowl.
I guess.
He's twitchy like Red Alert.
Yeah, but he's a cop car like Prowl. So potato, Prowl, tato. The point is that if you have the misfortune of wearing Prowl as pants, you get skinny little chicken legs and like a I don't even know. There's like a thing.
Into Baba Yaga.
Yeah, you get a thing hanging off of you. You get like a big fucking loincloth.
He keeps that thing on him.
Like, it's so funny because like Rodimus, like he's got these, as far as this like these designs go, I think top half Power Links Rodimus looks okay, and then you pan down and it's just like, oh no. This is why I remember the Prowl toy being so bad, because like it just, god damn, it's ugly when he's Power Linked. But yeah, they get their fucking asses kicked. Ironhide stands up for Kicker using the Energon Saber, but Rodimus retreats. Meanwhile, Megatron finally realizes, after all this fucking time, that Scorponok is still working for Alpha Q. And so he decides he's gonna drag Alpha Q out of hiding by throwing his precious boy at the Earth, tied to a gigantic fake comet.
One other thing I do want to say is that as Team Rodimus leaves, the thing Kicker says to them is, "Rodimus, you creep!"
Wow.
Which
Get
is also very fun. Yeah, get his ass, Kicker. Honestly, I've come around on Kicker, which is something that, like, I didn't think I would do. But, like, these episodes and, like, a lot in the past have been, like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I do think that I am softening on Kicker especially with every appearance his fucking shitbag dad
Yeah,
puts in.
I mean, Dr. Jones really does a lot to like soften Kicker. It's like, yeah, I can't blame you for anything when that's your dad. I'd be the same way. Fuck. And
yeah,
then
that's why you like that.
and then his like girlfriend gets in on razzing him, and it's like, damn, dude, like you can't catch a break.
And then he's
She's
partnered
so
with...
mean to him in the third
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. It's he's really can't get a break. His girlfriend's fucking getting his ass. He's partnered with Ironhide. Damn. He's going through
And
it.
I do think, like, actually to that point, I think one of the most annoying things about it was that, like, Ironhide and Kickers both started off as very annoying characters that went worse together.
Yes.
Because they actively disliked each other. And now that they don't actively dislike each other, they're both individually annoying, but at least there's not that added layer of them just, like, constantly fighting. And that has done a lot to make me not as annoyed with either of them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's Rodimus, friend or foe. We don't really get an answer. But he does. It's so funny when he tells Hotshot he's being a pussy and just shoots him.
Yeah. He's like, you're green.
God damn! It's like, it's like, it's like the classic, like, you want to point a gun at me, you better be ready to pull the trigger. I sure am.
Rodimus said love cannot bloom on the battlefield.
Yeah, so we end the episode with like Alpha going, "Oh, poor Scorponok, my beautiful baby boy, but I can't help him or else I'll expose myself. Oh no."
Yeah, he's like, just keep with it. Meanwhile, it's like the most hideous torture I think I've ever seen in an animated show.
Just
of
screaming.
Scorponok just like agonizingly in pain.
Yeah, I don't know how he doesn't die here.
Yeah, it's so funny because like one of the heads, the really annoying head, is like, oh man, what if it's a trap? But I do like Alpha Q. But I do like Scorponok. So it's like, oh well, we'll save him eventually.
Yeah.
Like that's the funniest thing is that like they do.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
Still,
but
though. Yes. Yeah.
But like they could have at any moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they could have called it Rodimus and say, hey, you need to save our boy.
At any point. Like they didn't have to wait.
I don't think they even tell Rodimus to pick him. He just does that on his own.
Yeah.
Because Alpha Q's like, I don't know if we can trust this guy. It's like, you saved your boy. I don't know what else you want from him.
I mean, it's a 4-way battle royale, so like fair enough.
I forgot to mention that Rodimus invites Kicker to come meet Alpha Q because he's like, the boss has taken an interest in you. And Kicker says, fuck you. Yeah, there's one. I just remember one of the another odd, like, bad at selling toys thing about this show.
Yep.
So above us, obviously there's like the multiple Cyrix classes. You do your combinate, you do your power linking with the Autobots, right? You make them shirts or pants.
Yep.
But the largest size classes had like a different thing. They couldn't combine with each other, but they had like secondary stuff they could combine with to form a quote unquote brute mode. And Landmine is one of those guys. Never ever shows any of these dudes doing that ever at all. So sometimes Landmine will just be big for no excellent reason, and then he can split his stuff off to be a tank. And you ever learn about why? Great job, fellas.
Great.
This is not the worst they're going to be at selling toys, though. Just wait until you see how they fucking try to sell you combiners, because it is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen.
Great.
It is a thing that just completely misses why people like combiner teams. It's so wonderful. So, episode 16, Go for Unicron, or in Japanese, Target Unicron.
Go for my liquor cabinet.
This is something else. Okay.
Yeah.
So we open up on.
Wait. I need to say.
Yeah.
I have notes from the beginning and the end here. I looked away for 20 seconds. You know, I was in the middle of work today when I was watching this. I work from home. I looked back and I was unable to follow the rest of the episode.
Yeah, it just fucking.
It was done. It was done. Now, I don't think that it actually matters at all that I looked away. I think that no matter what, this would have been incomprehensible, but my god, they fucked it.
Yep. So this is one of the ones where the dub really dropped the ball on basically everything about this at the end of this episode, because there's like a big moment here. We open with Scorponok being rescued, though. There's some things here. So not only we open on the Scorpion torture already in progress, with Scorponok being launched into the Energon grid.
So see you, Space Scorponok. He gets launched into the distance. Don't worry about it.
But then we cut to an asteroid where Starscream has this dude on like a bondage table and is just waiting for Alpha Q to show up.
Yeah, Starscream really sucks in this.
Oh, he's nothing. He's literally just the fucking he's like,
he's giving me depression, honestly. Like, as the Starscream Ichiban #1 fan. By the way, I saw when I was in Akihabara, I went to a store that had a whole floor of Koto Bukiya figures, and they had the Shoujo ones, but they only had on display. I was like, oh, I see like Megatron and Optimus, but not Starscream. So I was like, hey, do you have, and saying the words Bishoujo Starscream o motte masu ka?
What an experience.
Was like great. And then the guy looked at me and was like, oh, Bishoujo Starscream, and like went over and was like, yeah, like looked over and it's like, all the Seekers were sold out.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
all
I see
three of them.
Yeah, everyone. We know who was popular.
And I was like, motherfucker.
Wow, all of them, yes. I mean, look. If you're gonna buy the Seeker figures, you do have to get all three, no matter what fucking
and
line
they're in.
And
it would have been like $40 cheaper than it is to buy them here.
Yeah, no,
$50 cheaper.
Costs.
So like, I actually genuinely would have done it, but no.
I do want that Megatron.
I want all of them. Unfortunately, I do want like the Elite Trine. I want they're the same fucking figure, but I want.
I know. Like, yet again, Hasbro's like, we're gonna fool these dipshits into buying the same fucking figure by painting it different colors.
Actually, that's not true. The Bishoujo statues are like the only ones where they have different outfits. Slightly.
That's right. They painted leggings onto the other ones, right? Wow.
Anyway.
Team Rodimus rescues Scorponok. Who gives a shit? He's fine now. They bring him back to Alpha Q. And on the fucking, at some point here, the Autobots decide, what if we change the whole thing about what the show is about? What if we go to space to find Unicron? And Dr. Jones says, oh, hell yeah, I have a shit.
That's what it's called. Transformers Unicron.
Yeah, it's called Transformers Fly Around in Space Looking for a Guy. And not, yeah. So
now, to be clear, it is all four people. All four factions with the same goal.
Well, no, they still want to kill Unicron.
That's
the other ones don't. But all that time we spent with all the like building up the settings of like the Cybertron cities and all that stuff, and like the Jungle City stuff, that doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you.
So Dr. Jones already has a fucking ship ready. It's called the Miranda 2.
I'm gonna kill this man.
He named his big stupid fucking starship after his wife.
Miranda, if you need a real man, you know where to find me.
You remember how like Armada, Armada did this too. They go to space to like fight Unicron, right?
Yeah.
But number one, that happened in like the last 15 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you basically get one planet stop, and it's a pretty cool one where you fight fucking Nemesis Prime, and he's like weird and goopy. That's a cool episode. And then you go right to Cybertron. So I regret to inform everybody that basically the rest of the show will take place either in the vacuum of space or random planets that nobody cares about.
I don't know about you, but I'm having fun. This is good.
So
to
get
me.
ready for that. Get ready for, we've just completely separated from any kind of concrete setting that might tie down any of the characters to anything at all, and we're just fucking free floating in space. But before we get to that, we got to get the fucking thing up. So Misha's also coming on the boat, on the mom boat. She's got her jumpsuit on, and Kicker's scared of space, so he's kind of scared about going to space, because I mean, obviously we saw why he's scared of space, because his dad made him do an untethered spacewalk through the fucking asteroid belt,
Yeah.
and also dangled him down a mine shaft on the moon.
Oh wait, there's something I do have to talk about, actually. An incredible line where, have we gotten to sorry, did you talk about like Alpha Q crashing onto the meteor where Starscream is?
Oh yeah, he does actually go. I forgot. Yeah, he
literally
fucking
crashes.
does.
So Alpha Q comes to like rescue Scorponok, and like, no, sorry, Rodimus does.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's
because
not
like
Alpha Q.
yeah, because Starscream like is like, hey, there's a fucking ship over there, Megatron. He's like, what? And then Rodimus shows up.
Yeah, so Rodimus like literally crashes his ship onto the meteor where Scorponok is being held, and as he crashes, Starscream goes, "I've located the ship."
Good job.
Have you? Have you located the ship, my guy?
You've done it. You've done nothing. I've connected them. Thanks. He's
Did we
a
also-
real he's Megatron's elite guy for a reason.
Yeah, and then when they're like, he goes, Rodimus like goes outside the ship, and Prowl and Landmine follow after him, and immediately, this is one of like the worst moments that happens here, both in terms of writing and animation. It's very bad. They like meet Starscream, and Starscream's like, check this out, and like teleports a laser basically to them, and like Rodimus is like, what's his actual words here? It's dive for cover, do it. And then it just like flips over to Landmine and Prowl, who I'm not exaggerating, for like 5 full seconds stare up in silence at this laser.
Yeah.
Before going, what? And then getting slammed by it.
These are Rodimus's elite fucking soldiers.
It's
They're the best of the Autobots.
Bad. It's like, it was long enough to make me think that my video had frozen.
Yeah, your stream broke.
Yeah, that my stream had, like, was buffering. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
So we've got, yeah, so fucking the Miranda 2 is going to take off. It has its own personal energon grid. This will become important later. And Megatron sees that the Autobots are attempting to fly into space and launch into a Unicron pursuit pattern, and he tries to attack them. So obviously there's a big ship battle. The space bridge technology that the Miranda 2 uses is not like anything else we've seen before. There's like all of these like floating blocks in a ring that connect to make the space bridge. This is entirely so that we can have Kicker have to do a spacewalk to fix one of the blocks when Snowcat shoots at it. So
why are they doing it? They're robots, they can fly. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's because they're all full of energon, so only Kicker or the Omnicons can like work on them, and the Omnicons get body checked by Starscream, so Kicker has to do it. So during all of this, you know, there's this whole thing. It's super like, at least there's this whole thing where like Kicker is trying not to panic, and Ironhide tells him he's not alone and all this stuff. I have the quote that whole speech is like fed through the pasta machine of the dub.
Oh,
and
yeah,
comes out
please.
the other end as this. Ironhide says, "Hang in there, kicker. Just use your body to control your momentum. Hey, you gotta do what I
yeah.
say. You understand? Use your body, kicker. It'll help you move in zero gravity."
Remember how last episode I was talking about how Optimus goes on and on about how
Yeah.
how defensive he is about the choice he made and
God,
how it had
that's
to
still
be
so
made?
funny.
This is like the exact same cadence. It's like, why are you doing this?
Everyone's just talking in run-on sentences and repeating themselves
It's
50
like-
fucking times.
Why did Mojo Jojo write these episodes?
Yeah, it really is. It really is Mojo Jojo cadence. See, all that stuff about like, kicker, you're not alone. You have your friends to help you this time. We won't abandon you like your shitty dad. That gets turned into whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, it's a literal. Again, it's not even different words. It's just the same sentence, slightly reordered.
Use your body, kicker. It will help you move in zero gravity. It literally won't. That's not how that works. What the fuck are you talking about? Ironhide? Anyway, they get
You know
the
that
shit
Love,
fixed.
Death, and Robots episode where the person actually has to like cut her arm off to create momentum? Because
Not just she should have just used her body.
yeah,
Which I guess
she had to, like
technically.
break her arm off to make momentum because you can't just floating in space in a vacuum.
It's not like you can't swim in space.
It's a
not how anything
vacuum.
works. Yeah,
There's nothing to push against.
Yeah, that's why when you're doing 0G, you gotta move around. You gotta like hold on to stuff. But Ironhide doesn't believe in any of that shit. So they get the space bridge going, and they turn on the fucking Energon grid. They turn on the Energon shield, and Megatron is about to get his ass absolutely fucking blasted by it. But Demolisher, Demolisher is this whole thing where his loyalties have been like torn. It's like he wants to serve Megatron, but also he still feels this bond with the people of Earth and with Kicker especially, right? Like all that stuff. Don't worry, we won't spend too much more time on that. We'll get to that quote unquote resolution later. But so in Superlink, Demolisher's sacrifice, everyone reacts to it very strongly. Ironhide like has to be dragged into the ship. He's like, "No, my friend, Demolisher." And even Megatron seems touched by this sacrifice because he collects Demolisher's spark, and he's like, "This is not over," and there's like some emotion in his voice.
Yeah,
and
he's like, "That was some real shit you did."
So in the dub, what happens is the Demolisher gets fucking annihilated by the Energon grid, and what Ironhide says is, "Hurry, get in the ship!" What? What the fuck are you talking about?
I forgot because I thought this was in a different order, but I also do want to mention that earlier, while the Decepticons were fighting Team Rodimus,
Yeah.
They get their ass beat.
Yes.
And Megatron gets hit there as well. And Starscream's like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to retreat?" And Megatron's like, "What are you, stupid?" And Starscream's like, "No, you're injured, dude." And Megatron's like, "Yeah, okay, fine, let's retreat." And they go through the wormhole and everything, and Megatron's like, "Mark my words, Rodimus, I'm coming back, and I'm coming for you." Ha 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 ha! And it's really bold laughter for a man who just got his ass beat.
You know, I've always said Armada Megatron's finest point is his boisterousness. He can really spin anything into his fucking haha, I'm the badass one. But yeah, basically nobody in the dub remarks about Demolisher at all. None of the Autobots fucking give a shit.
No, they do not.
The entire
He made his choice.
Yeah, the entire like end of the episode is Ironhide Kicker being super fucked up about Demolisher's death, and Optimus like, I wish he could have chosen our side, all this stuff. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck in the fucking dub. God damn, dude. This is all, and we're already gonna get to the part that like either way it sucks ass what happens to Demolisher, but like in the dub it's especially shitty because they even deny this part. But they go through the portal, and it's time to begin space.
Yippee.
In episode 17, the return of the return of Demolisher, or in Superlink, a reign of Dinobots.
So the surgery was a failure.
So, okay, we're gonna the really dramatic death scene for Demolisher last episode. Like, really dramatic. He's back.
For you, maybe.
Yeah, for me. For you, it was probably mostly just confusing because nobody remarked on it at all. Ironhide, the guy who's like probably the closest to Demolisher to the hotshot, literally just doesn't react and instead says, "Get to the ship." Get to the ship really is, I think, the quintessential Energon dub moment of completely like flubbing any emotional impact the original had and just turning it into utter nonsense. Anyway, Demolisher's back. He's a dump truck now. Oh, and all his memories are erased, so don't worry about him having any complicated feelings about anything. He's fine now.
He looks so bad, dog.
It looks really, like real glow down for both him and Cyclonus, I feel. By the way, in Japanese, he goes from Ironhide to Iron Tread.
Okay.
Which is interesting because he was a treaded vehicle before, but now he is not. So
yeah, well, it.
I don't know why he's in like Constructicon colors too. I guess all
he
dump
looks
trucks
so
have to
bad. I'm so sad about it.
Yeah, like I really like Demolisher's design. I like the gun fingers. I like his like scouter, his like built-in scouter. I think it's a really cool looking design.
And he was the only one who looked half decent in this show.
Yeah, and now he's just a fucking square. God, he looks bad.
He's a square with like the angry emoji.
Yeah, can we all look? Let us just. I want us both just really pontificate.
I'd rather not.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at these beautiful boys.
God almighty.
They look like I posted a picture of Snowcat and Demolisher.
Who do you think took your boobs?
Yeah, can we get an edit of anyone in this Discord? I'll make it a sticker if anyone does this. Can we get an edit of Snowcat where his windshield is replaced with Mega Milk? I will thank you all for that. To make this horrible cursed image. Demolisher just looks like ass. His why does he got like?
I mean, he just looks he looks like he's backpacking through Nepal.
Yeah, yeah. So
he looks like he's gonna find himself in the Himalayas.
Snowcat is front heavy, Demolisher is back heavy, and would you believe that the Demolisher figure has a really hard time standing up?
You don't say.
He just falls over.
But he looks so balanced.
So we have arrived on a completely nondescript ice planet that has no interesting features. It's literally just an
New
ice
Ice City.
Yeah, like it's just literally just an ice planet. Kicker during his Kicker has a recap for some reason.
Yes.
And one of the lines in the dub is we warped into another galaxy on the outer reaches of the solar system.
I think to be fair, I think he has to recap because it's like marking that it's a new
Yes. There might have been a
arc.
gap. Yeah, there probably was a gap. We have Demolisher, who Megatron claims is invincible now. Citation fucking needed. And they follow. Kicker finds Energon on this stupid fucking ice planet, and so the Decepticons obviously got to go follow them. And so does Alpha Q. Alpha Q decides that he needs his army of kitties and birdies is not enough to handle this 4-way conflict. So he has Unicron make a new kind of guy, which is dinosaurs.
These are the worst Dinobots I've seen in my fucking life.
They look like ass. They look very bad. These are called like Cruel Lock in English, and I think they're just called Dinobots in Japanese. So most of this, the fucking Miranda 2 flies into this planet's atmosphere, and it almost immediately gets frozen solid. And at least in Japanese, Kicker's like, "Oh man, this is all my fault." Oh my
Yeah.
god, the quotes block of the TF Wiki is so long because apparently the dub for this one is just complete nonsense.
Yeah, no, please read it. Please. Please.
So,
this is what I listened to today.
Yeah, so there's a bit where like they fly into they see some ice moving around or something, like they fly into a storm. And this is how it's conveyed through the dialogue. Kicker says, "What's going on?" And Inferno says, "The glacier, it's moving, Kicker." And Misha says, "I think I know why, Inferno. It's kind of like the glaciers in the North Pole, Kicker. They're constantly moving and shifting." And Inferno says, "Trying to steer a starship through a whiteout is like trying to thread a needle." There's no glacier moving in front of them. I don't know what they're talking about.
You know, the glacier.
The glacier.
There's the glacier.
The glacier. Oh Lord, this is a really good, valuable dialogue exchange. Everyone take notes on how to write dialogue from this one, okay? So this is a conversation between Optimus Prime and Kicker, okay?
Genuinely. Oh, about what you're about to say?
Hey Optimus.
Is there anything I can do?
Yeah, good question. I'm not sure yet, but let's get going.
Yeah, no, it's literally
what?
So, I want to talk about this because you aren't like portraying the emotion, the tone with which these words are said. Because like Kicker is beating himself up about being at fault for some reason.
Okay, at least they kept that.
Yes,
at least they maintained that.
No. He's like feeling super guilty about it, and you can tell the entire time. So he's like, "Optimus, sir, is there anything I can do?" And Optimus goes, "Good question. No."
Yep, but let's go anyway.
And Kicker's like, "Cool." Then when they do go, by the way, when like they all hop off, Optimus goes, This is a crazy transition that happens here, because what happens is Optimus goes, "All right, team, let's head out. But before we do, it's time to power Optimus Prime, power link."
just get fucking slapped in the face.
Cuts himself off mid-sentence to go into the recycled power link animation that has him saying funny. Optimus Prime, power link. It's a crazy transition.
That's funny as fuck. Oh, there's a good line here later on when because they're basically trying to unfreeze the ship while gathering energon while also fighting off the Decepticons. And at one point Optimus says, "I could annihilate the Decepticons by deploying the energon grid, but then I run the risk of destroying the entire universe because it's loaded with raw energon." I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true at all.
Yeah,
Optimus.
right. Yeah, because he's talking about like
I
making
think you might blow
choices.
up the planet.
He's like talking about the importance of making choices, and like Kicker's like, I don't know. Kicker has like some ideas like, why don't we just get rid of the? Oh, right. No, Kicker is the one who's like, why are we wasting our time going after Unicron? Or I can't remember if it's going after Unicron or getting Energon. Yeah, getting Energon.
Yes, like why are we stopping to get Energon? And I was like, well, we got to get it somewhere.
Yeah, and like Kicker's like, okay, but we have a different mission now. Like we have mission parameters. Like I'm actually going to try to be good at this job, and like Optimus is like, well, we all make choices. For example, I could choose to kill every Decepticon right now, but I also might destroy the universe. So I'm deciding not to do that. It's unhinged. The other thing that I need to talk about that we get like throughout all these episodes, by the way, and we get it at the end of this one as well, is Ironhide has been acting completely nuts these episodes as well. Several times. Basically, his entire thing in these episodes is saying something. You know that tweet that's like, "I would agree immediately with anything Pretty Woman says? Yeah. You should have a backbone. You're right, I should."
Yeah, that is him with everyone.
That is him with everyone. He like brings up genuine concerns, and then everyone else is like, "We don't think that's true," and he's like, "You're right, it's fine." Thumbs up, let's go.
Yeah, there's There's a bit here. So they have the yada yada. The Decepticons show up. They start blasting. Demolisher punches some fucking icicles. The episode in English is named after him. He doesn't do shit in this episode.
But he's back.
Yeah, he's back, and he's not a character anymore. The Dinobots show up. They start eating all of the battle ravages. The Autobots fuck off while the Decepticons try to fight these guys off. Yada yada. Fucking Jetfire gets his ass shot by the Decepticons, and so he has to wear Ironhide as pants. And then at the very end, we have this conversation, quote unquote. Optimus says, "Wait, are those bots Alpha Q's minions?" Talking about the Dinobots, and Inferno says, "Well, if they are, then that means Alpha Q is after the Energon too, sir." Which, may I remind everyone, is the fact that everyone knows at all times that was the beginning, that was the conflict at the start of this show, was that Alpha Q was trying to get Energon.
Yep, keep going.
Optimus Prime says, "And I believe Unicron is already split in two." Complete non sequitur. What the fuck are you talking about? Kicker says, "What?" Inferno, "Well, if that's the case, then that would explain why we received two separate signals back on Earth." And then Misha says, "Very interesting. An entire planet splitting in two. I've heard of it before. I was taught the Earth split back from the moon back in science class." Head still spitting. Hotshot says, "Are you saying it's possible, Misha?" And Misha says, "Well, I need evidence to prove it happened to Unicron."
It's
What?
a good show.
What the fuck are any of you people talking about?
It's great. What are you talking about?
I love that Misha's like, yeah, the Earth, the moon is the part of the Earth that split off when something else hit it. But everyone's talking about Unicron like he's a normal planet. He can turn into a robot. Like, it's not that hard to separate the parts. Alpha Q just took the head. But they're just rattling on, and also I don't know how Optimus like this is. I think Unicron is split in two. He just says that shit for no reason.
So I spent an hour watching this.
Because you were just like, I don't understand anything.
No, because I had 3 episodes to watch.
Oh right, yes, an hour collectively watching. I thought you'd been an hour watching this specific episode.
No. What you need to know about me is I will never repeat anything that I watch here in this series.
Yeah. It's just
absolutely not.
It's just falling apart at the seams so fast. We're not even halfway through.
Nope.
And it's just completely collapsed under its own fucking weight. And we've got like one of the only characters that had like anything going on at all has just been completely wiped, clean slate. He's just a big green guy now. We've got Ironhide just believing whatever the last thing he heard was. We have
it's so funny because like, yeah,
it's quite something. Is there anything else? Any other notes you had?
Let me just double check. No, that was it. Fuck this show.
God, I love if you read the synopsis on TF Week, you can like feel the disdain in whoever wrote them. It's coming off of it in waves. It's so funny. Like, this is only the start of this like traipsing through space thing. We're gonna get to so many other nothing planets, and we're gonna get so many more guys who just don't do anything. Oh, I have something. So there's a bit near the end where Kicker like drags the Energon axe out of Jetfire's Energon star.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with something he says about it. He says
Okay.
It's really big and unwieldy. I'm like, Kicker, you regularly use the Energon saber to fight, which is way bigger than that fucking axe. And also probably heavier because this Energon axe is like made of fucking lasers or whatever. So I don't think that's true at all.
Well, I'm glad we're getting caught up on the important things here.
There's also a funny bit in Superlink where, you know, before they set off, Optimus sends Jetfire to work with Kicker and Ironhide to like gather the Energon, and he kind of holds Jetfire by the, "Hey, listen, man, Kicker's real fucked up right now emotionally. He's in space. He's away from home. He doesn't know but stuff. I just want you to, be discreet. Treat him nice, okay? And Jetfire's like, you got it, boss. And in the very next scene, Jetfire's like busting his balls about being a coward or something, like immediately. Just being a huge asshole.
I'm so serious when I say fuck this show for real.
Episode 17. Oh, the next episode is one of the ones that has a spelling error in the title.
Great. Great.
Fuck me. I mean, we're really all right. Let's do some goddamn questions about this show.
Sure.
This show, it might kill us.
I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard. It's hard to know. It's hard to know that this is the best it gets, and it's all just. I'm not gonna say it's like a sharp decline, but it's just a very constant decline. We're gonna see lots of cars driving in space. We're gonna hear lots of yodeling.
I'm so not prepared for the amount of yodeling that I'm going to hear. I'm gonna be so for real. The first 5 minutes of watching these episodes, or not 5 minutes, the first 20 seconds of watching these episodes, I was like, oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's his fucking thing now. It is 100% his thing now. Like, basically, whenever he would laugh, he just yodels now. So have fun with that. I will say his yodeling in Japanese is slightly less annoying, I guess. It's not any less, though. He still does it the same amount. Anyway, we've got one question on Twitter from Cass. What is cosplay? Genuine question. Why are space operas called that when there's no opera singing? Is it story scale?
I think it's like the same reason that like epic poems are called poems. Even though
it's like
there are stanzas, but I mean, I'm no poetry expert, but I'm not sure what the difference of a stanza and a paragraph in an epic poem is.
Right. No, yeah, I think that it is part of it is a story scale thing, but it's also like a collection of tropes. Space operas usually do have a very grand scale. And I think it's fair to call like Legend of the Galactic Heroes a space opera, right?
I mean, listen, I'm also not an expert on space operas. My understanding of the genre is actually pretty limited. As someone who does enjoy sci-fi, I've never found the description of things as space operas to be particularly useful. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's mostly when there's like a guy with a sword, but he's also got a spaceship. And it's like he talks about how big space is. Energon is a space opera in that it's like you're watching a really bad performance of an opera, but you can't leave.
It's a space soap opera.
It is a space soap opera. God, no, that makes it sound. At least soap operas are like fun. At least they're like.
That's true.
At least things happen in soap operas.
That's true. Boy, do things happen in soap operas, huh?
Nothing happens here.
We have some questions.
I guess, one thing I will say, it's very soap opera to have a guy die and then come back with no memories.
That is true. And to have 3 of them do it.
Yes.
We have some questions on Discord. First up is from Verderjohn Herzog. Who do you think had a better redemption arc, Kylo Ren, Anakin Skywalker, or the worm that ate RFK Jr.'s brain?
I think the worm was always good. So I get the other two
the first two had redemption arcs.
Okay, so here's the thing. Kylo Ren, the beautiful thing, one of the many beautiful things about famously good movie The Rise of Skywalker is that
you're about to make a very divisive statement.
Oh no, that movie sucks ass. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not in like I've seen worse movies like craft wise, but I think it's like there's the failure state of Rise of Skywalker is almost mind boggling in how they got there. and how bad they fucked
I
it.
have never seen a more divisive response to a movie than for Rise of Skywalker. I never watched it. So
See, I feel like I feel like that's not true because The Last Jedi was the divisive one. I think
was Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker is 8, right? Is it 8 or 9?
Yeah, it's that one was 9.
Oh, Last Jedi is 8.
Yeah, Last Jedi is the middle one, and I think I am a Last Jedi defender. I think that movie's pretty good.
Okay, then
Rise
you're
of
right,
Skywalker was the ending where everyone looked. It was the Patchy the Pirate gif of that's it. So one of the beautiful things about the Rise of Skywalker is that after Kylo Ren starts his redemption arc, he never says another line of dialogue for the rest of the movie. Literally not a single one. He goes to Exegol, where Palpatine blasts a rebel fleet with base boosted force lightning. That is not I'm not making a joke. He shoots lightning and it makes a base boosted whoomp noise. Kylo Ren falls in a hole, climbs up, kisses Rey, and then dies. That's his character. That's his redemption arc.
Awesome.
Vader has a bit more of a redemption arc. I think it works fairly fine in the original trilogy if you just take that isolated. It's the rest of it where it gets a little dicier because we get more specifics about what Anakin did.
Yeah, he did some bad stuff.
He did throw the Emperor down a big hole to save his son.
Yeah,
which
but
is
apparently it
ultimately
didn't stick.
Look, that's not his fault. It's not his fault that somehow. It's not his fault that somehow Palpatine returned. That's fucking J.J. Abrams' fault. That's Fortnite's fault. That's not on Vader. He threw Palpatine down a big hole and saved his son, and that's something, right? But I think the worm that ate RFK Jr.'s brain was always correct to do so. I think the worm never did anything wrong. So I guess by default it's Anakin. Good job, Anakin.
Yeah.
Number 1 youngling killer, Anakin Skywalker.
Slipstream Sam asks, what's the funniest way to die right before your major character moment? I'm going to continue the thread from Pot of Greed this week, and it's beefing it while doing the Hari Hari Yukai.
I think just like slipping on a banana peel and breaking your neck. It's just like something completely that robs anything of all drama. Like you fall through a window and that's it.
Sam also asks, would you choose to name a boat after a fictional character of similar relative size, or go for a humorous juxtaposition? Example, large yacht named Tataru Taru.
Tataru should get a big yacht named the Tataru. I don't think... Okay, the problem is if that was the case, you can never name a boat after a person, because generally boats are very large and people aren't. Like,
oh, that's not true. If I had a large boat, I'd name it Figaro.
That's true. You do have a boat-sized cat.
I do have a boat-sized cat.
Every time I see him, I'm just like, I don't understand how this creature exists.
Those birthday photos, huh?
He's megafauna to me. He's like a fucking. They unfroze him from somewhere. He's gonna turn into a saber-toothed tiger at some point.
You've heard of the mammoth cube?
Yeah. Unfrozen caveman kitty cat. I never really thought about humorously juxtaposing what if you named a boat after a short guy. I don't know if that goes into the consideration of boat naming.
This is my boat, Danny DeVito.
Okay, well, it would be funny to name a boat after Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird that he named the ship the Miranda too, because he didn't just name it the Miranda.
I mean, he literally objectified his wife. Well, no, I mean, it implies that he has another boat that he's already used to objectify her.
But no, I think it's worse. I think it means that he has a second wife, and his second wife is the boat. This is the improvement. This is the improvement on his wife. It's the boat.
You think the first Miranda is just Miranda the person?
Yeah, I don't think there's
Oh, that's really bad.
I don't think there's another boat, because we know the only other starship we know about is the fucking Axelon from Armada. So like, I think he just named the boat.
But you can still like make implication. You know what I mean?
Maybe the first Miranda was the space submersible that he dangled his son out of in the asteroid belt. Who knows?
That would have been really funny, like in The Womb.
That's right. It's like the umbilical cord, Kicker. Now let me cut it and send you adrift in this cold, cruel world. Haha.
Christ. Okay. Nero from Disney Minus asks, "You've died and gotten better, but you need a new name and gimmicks. What do you choose? Do you update your look?"
Not going by their look. If I'm updating my look, you got to update my look. You need a new look. You need you need to look cooler though.
Yeah, my new look is I'm a jock now.
My new look is that like I wear fucking like biker jackets now. Your new look can't be you look way worse like fucking Snowcat and Demolisher have. That can't be your new look. You can't come back to life and have a glow down. That's just not how you do things.
This is the glow down as coming back wrong. The wrong
Yeah.
is just you look like shit.
Yeah. I do think that like we have one more guy who will be reformatted, and I do think Tidal Wave to Mirage is like I think they're both good designs, so at least there's that.
Thank
but
God.
literally everyone else, because like with this point, almost all of like Starscream, Cyclonus, and Demolisher have all been reformatted, and all of them look like absolute dog ass. So, you know.
Void Mother asks, "You ever rear back and just give a good yodel?" Absolutely not, and I certainly won't after these episodes.
If I'm ever in the Alps, I will. But yodeling really feels like an inappropriate action in non-alpine circumstances.
It's also like,
Or Walmarts, I guess.
I feel like it's a little Aryan for my tastes. Honest, if I'm gonna be completely honest with all of you, I'm like, this feels like a little Christo nationalist. Vera asks, "Last week you talked about your favorite sniper rifles, but I believe the question meant sniping moments in media, to use their personal favorites as an example," which I'm just going to link a short video rather than explain the scene through text. So yeah, what's your favorite sniping moments in media?
Okay, I've actually got a couple for this. And yeah, the video is just some extremely sick stuff from Armored Core 6, which seems to be a game about doing extremely sick stuff in big robots. So I've got two. I got two things that immediately leapt to my mind when I was like, what are my favorite like sniping moments?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is from One Piece. It's Soga King sniping those dudes on top of the Tower of Justice. That shit goes hard. My second one is from Final Fantasy XIV. There is a boss fight in the Alliance raid called the Orban Monastery against a man named Mostadio Bonanza, which is already a very good name to have as a video game character. Who is like a robot with he's like a big cool steampunk mech with a sniper rifle. And one of the attacks he does is that he fucking lines up a shot, and you have to orient your character properly to not immediately get your shit rocked by his shot. And that's just a very cool sequence. And I think that sequence and that whole fight basically those are the two moments for me.
The only thing I can think of is that one video of the girl being like, "The aliens aren't coming. We're alone here. And it's just you and me. But isn't that enough?" And then it goes to COD, the footage while 30 Seconds to Mars plays.
Yeah. Fuck, I love that video so much. Yes, that one is extremely good.
That's literally all I can think of.
And of course, special honorable mention to the bit in New Vegas where you lead that lady out to get executed by Boone.
Oh yeah, that's a good moment. That's a good moment.
Yeah.
Sidebiner Sabrina asks, "You know what we could have used in episode 16? Some real space bridge technicians. If you could import and incorporate any of the animated crew into Super Interlink, how would you? Or who would you? Sorry.
None of them deserve this.
Yeah.
They don't need to be here. My precious boys. I like all those characters. They don't need to fucking be here.
Prowl if I needed to.
I guess, but like, maybe he could help Kicker like gain some
Sentinel.
air. But he's not a space bridge technician. He's not like one of the guys. He would be.
Yeah, I guess he's not part of the crew. Yeah, I mean, if we have to do the actual crew, then Prowl. Or Bumblebee.
I was going to say Bumblebee because he's the annoying one. And so he would fit right in.
Man, that sure was honorable of Ironhide to sacrifice himself to save his leader, and it was great that his spark was saved. What character developments would you want to happen now that he is reborn? I'm too Jewish for this.
Actually, what if instead he was big, green, and ugly, and didn't remember any of the feelings he had about his friends, and did nothing for the rest of the show? Wouldn't that be better? Would you like that?
Well, I've bad news.
What if Starscream really had a real fucking real arc in Armada? You know, it was one of the real highlights of that show. What if we brought him back as like this tortured shade with his memories just out of reach? But then instead of doing anything with that, Megatron just erases his memories and turns him into a regular guy.
What primal fear do you
like
have that you could overcome with the help of your found family, like your friend and mine, Kicker? Abandonment.
Yeah, I mean that found family is kind of the silver bullet for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't have many profound fears, but I do get
primal...
like RSD. So
primal fears. Do I have any like super deep seated primal fears?
Yeah, which Magnus Archive monster would come for you?
I don't know. I can't really like only the normal ones that are like I don't know.
I mean, I just said the lonely would be mine.
Like what is like it was because like I'm not afraid of like space or the ocean or any other like big fucking concepts like that, right? Like I'm fine with those things. Like yeah, they're big and unknowable, but that's okay. I don't gotta. Maybe I'd be like scared if I was in space, but I'm not like scared of space conceptually, like some people are. I don't know. I'm really afraid of medical stuff, so Ironhide could help me do that, I guess. That's my like profound fear. I don't like thinking about medical stuff and needles and tubes and all that nonsense.
I really hope that my mic is picking up Fig's squeaks.
It's not. Discord is probably not, but I think maybe your mic. I'll have to check later.
No, I know.
I'm sure Discord is.
I know you're not hearing them now, but I really hope they show up on my my Audacity audio because he's being so vocal.
We have our third co-host here with us.
Yeah. Hey, we're finally in space proper. I hear the show gets so much better from this point on. Aren't you excited? Moving on to the next question. This Energon grid is super powerful, but how does it compare to the Micron weapons, the 3 legendary weapons, and the Hydra Cannon Rip Thrust?
Okay, well, you could use those anytime you want. And this thing requires you to, like, press a billion buttons and use a bunch of Energon. So way less cool. Like, yeah, I guess it can make, like, a planetary shield or whatever. That's pretty cool, but, like... Remember when Smokescreen got fucking bodied by the Requiem Blast? That was cool as fuck. That was badass.
And our last question from Sabrina. Finally, with the first explanation of what Rodimus Convoy wants, what character in Transformers have we seen has the worst plan?
Ooh, okay, so we haven't gotten to any of the real classic G1 Megatron plans yet. We haven't gotten to, like, the giant purple griffin, or...
Open a nightclub. That'll work.
Oh man,
that'll do it.
We don't know about Megatron, like his Decepticon Day, any of that stuff, because he's got some real bangers in there.
Put yourself into an Optimus bodysuit and
get his remote control Optimus.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking back. I think Armada Megatron had some real stink ass plans. That time he just abandoned Starscream in the woods. That was funny.
Yeah.
God, Armada Megatron is fucking funny. But I don't know. A lot of that just came down to him being like kind of an asshole.
It's probably of what we've seen. Honestly, probably someone in animated.
Let's think back to so Swindle had a pretty good plan, which was like sell stuff. I like Swindle. Animated Megatron always had some pretty solid plans. Starscream's plans were straightforward. Yes. Oh, someday. I don't think that dude had I don't think that guy had a fucking plan for anything. I think that guy just did shit and like the consequences just hit him. I think Prometheus Black had the worst plan because it turned him into a fucking goo man, and then he made gross creatures. I don't know. Yeah, I think the prize for the actual prize for this goes to G1 Megatron, but we haven't got to any of his legendary.
I also do
dipshit plans
think
yet.
Prime Megatron should get some information.
Yeah,
because some awards
yeah.
for poisoning myself with the blood of the devil.
He really is like, he's like one of the most fucking just pure id Megatrons, which is the thing I like about him. Because
Like,
he will just do whatever.
It works out better for him than it should, but that doesn't mean it was a good plan.
Yeah, like he will stab himself with devil blood. He will graft like a dead god's arm onto himself to get to wield a sword. He will literally do whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Prime Megatron is bad at planning, but like it works out in the shuffle just because he's so much of a fucking
He's a
brutal
huge
asshole.
badass, yeah.
Yeah, like he's literally just too strong to fail. He will just fucking blow his way through anything. Remember when Starscream's arm fell off?
Yeah.
God, I miss Prime.
I mean, I was thinking about Starscream trying to revive a dead warrior that hated him.
Oh yeah, there's another Starscream plan we'll get to in season 2 that's also pretty bad.
Yeah, no, the trajectory of Starscream and Prime is like really tragic, actually.
He's very bad at choosing his allies for convenience.
Haybine asks, should we read anything into all the Decepticon bondage / identity death / mental domination stuff that happens throughout the series, or how the best hand-drawn animation is mostly saved for close-ups of robots in pain? Maybe it's fine. Maybe we don't need to think about it.
That is true. Okay, well, the other hand-drawn animation was Megatron yawning.
Yes.
And also one of them was Megatron straining really hard to take a big shit.
No, he was straining really hard to give birth, please.
That's right. There is a lot of weird bondage stuff with the Decepticons in this show. Haybine's onto something. Remember that shit when he trapped Starscream in his fucking mind palace? Where he was like, say my name?
Yeah, the torture labyrinth from Do Not Create the Torture Labyrinth.
Yeah, he's like, say my name, fucking submit to my will.
Yeah.
There's the infinite Cyclonus tentacle
Call
shibari.
me by your name.
There's the fucking there's the bondage table they had Scorponok strapped to in episode like 16.
Sure, there's bondage that Cyclonus spent most of the last episodes in.
And yeah, there's like the memory wipes. Like there is a weird thread, and that will continue. I know this. That is weird. I don't. But yeah, there is. It is true that, I mean, it's because the hand-drawn animation is reserved for like intense emotions, and normally the most intense emotions that are expressed in a show like this usually like pain
or apparently boredom.
You're just really bored.
Our final question comes from Veer again. Are the Energon Decepticons just a toxic polycule? Should they go get relationship therapy?
No, there aren't enough vibes there.
Those people have never been in a relationship with each other.
Like there are
this
definitely
is a Craigslist ad.
Absolutely, there are definitely Decepticon like casts that are a toxic polycule.
This is not the Seattle polycule. Okay.
No. It really wasn't that way in Armada either. It is a similarly sort of like Megatron is domineer. I guess really it's more like I don't know. It's very There's I'm just thinking the toxic Decepticon polycule, like all those other shows that we could be watching, but instead we're watching Energon. We got to get through it. There's so much more. There's 52 episodes of this fucking thing.
Anyway,
and nothing ever happens. You know, it's really insulting. So every episode of Superlink, with the next time on, ends with Alpha Q telling you that something cool will happen next episode. And he's always fucking lying. What a piece of shit. Optimus tells you to sit away from the TV though, and watch in like a well lit room. So he's looking out for me.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
We've been Prime Cuts. You can find us on Twitter, Prime Cuts Pod. You can find me on Twitter at Dragon Switcher, on co-host at Dragon Snuggler, on Tumblr at Cyclones with a 5 at the end of it. Ready for Heidland and Talk Cycles are going on hiatus for a bit, so there won't be that, but I'll still pop up on people's streams from time to time. And yes, that is it for me.
I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, co-host Blue Sky, Optimum and Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed. It's about Yu-Gi-Oh! We're about to start a new season of 5Ds. I've been cast in an audio drama called The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, which was just funded on Kickstarter. We're going to have 10 episodes total, which is very exciting. But none of the pilot is available now, and the rest of them won't be until, like, next year. And that's it.
So, until next time, I am going to strap on my skis and yodel my way through the vacuum of space, transform and roll out.
I'm going to stare at a laser for 5 seconds of silence before it blasts my ass into oblivion, transform and roll out. Peach.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in disguise.
Transformers.